Hello, my dear friends. Today we are unpacking a MacBook that has not yet been announced. This is how I would start if I were chasing a cheap, sensation. But today we will very routinely unpack a MacBook that Apple has not even announced yet. And you may ask, how did I get it? It's about as simple as that. I was walking down the street, and some geeky-looking guy jumps out of the bushes and simply says, "Here." I say, "Thank you," and this is a MacBook Pro 14 on M4. Make something tasty, eat, drink. Now we will unpack it, compare it with previous generations, with an iPad on M4. In general, everything you love. This is my working M.Trimax MacBook, and I want to tell you that over the past year I have realized this. Do not take the black color under any circumstances. It slaps so quickly that you do not have time to simply wipe it off. This is some kind of machine for attracting these unfortunate nasty sticky fingers, but the iPad is of course greatness. So, you take a marker and like this, lilacs, like this, you paint over everything like this so that no one will ever find out anything. So, look, we have the M.4 version, 16 GB of unified memory and 512. If you go to the Apple website now, there is no such thing there yet. Then you will see that the basic version on M.Tree contains only 8 GB of RAM. And I want to understand, is this a new junior MacBook or some kind of middle version? I've told you more than once that yes, of course, Apple works differently in its system with RAM. And 8 gigs is not the same as on Windows, but, damn, it already seems like not enough. But it's already shameful in the 24th century, having such greatness. These 8 GB. Like in an iPhone, F***K. Well, this is not serious at all. What MacBook Pro for less money? That's why you have to raise it to 12 in an iPhone, and, of course, a MacBook Pro should start at 16 GB. That's why I really hope that literally on the 21st or 22nd of October there will be an Apple presentation where they will show this MacBook. And it will go on sale from the 1st of November. That's how it will happen, and then we will find out if I'm right. But while the guys still have time to think, I'm just throwing in an idea. I want this to be the youngest, the most simple MacBook. Well, actually, we immediately see 10 CPU cores and 10 GPU cores, which, of course, is an update in general in terms of the number of all these niceties for MacBooks. The base M.Tree had fewer cores, and this suggests that this MacBook is clearly also being created with an eye on Apple Intelligence, which still doesn't exist. But wait, they say, again, at the end of October iOS 18.1 will be released, an update to the latest Sequoia, and everything will be fine there we will enjoy this new artificial intelligence. No, because we speak Russian, and all this is simply stupidly unavailable to us. Well, shall we go? Now it turns out that this is M3, and they just threw us some kind of hat. And the color is really not indicated on the box. I've already looked everywhere here, it is not written anywhere what color it is. The only thing that can be determined by the color, obviously, is this picture. Because it is, damn, black, it seems to be a black MacBook. Well, come on. But this has never happened before, yes, that we accelerated so much. Yes, it is a black MacBook. Well, no, it is, of course, beautiful as long as it is clean. But once you start slapping it on, it just turns into some really weird hardware. Let's see what's included. As far as I understand, we won't see anything new in this generation, that is, no new design solutions. It's the same chassis that we've been seeing for years now, with that same notch, but so that when yes, no. So, the wire is in color, the black MagSafe is new, the second is a beautiful USB-C. And here, I don't know. How do the guys from Apple put this puzzle together? How does it put together? Because I lift it up and see a white power adapter. This white one. I understand that it is, again, unified, but what the hell? I want it to be black, the color of my wire. Because I don't know what the designers have there, you tell me, but it seems to me that this doesn't look super sexy. If the block were black, matte, like this, it would be cooler. Write in the comments what you think about this. That's all, actually. Apples. What about the apples? They took the apples from... How? Here's the envelope, here's the backing. And look, there are 2 pieces of paper in there. These bastards stuffed these 2 pieces of paper into the whole envelope. You, my sweet fighters for the environment. This is the carbon footprint we don't want to leave. There is more paper in this envelope than in these two shrunken ones. What is this anyway? How is that possible? I thought I had to open it somehow to break through somewhere into the wilds of the future. But no, it's glued here and that's it. Well, at least they put a rag in. This story with double standards, of course, makes me laugh a lot. I don't know about you. Well, here they tell us how to use what. Welcome to the new MacBook Pro. Well, let's turn it on, since that's the case. These are the Geekbench 6 points the iPad Pro on M scores in the CPU test. We recorded these numbers. Now let's compare them with what the MacBook Pro will show. Against some crappy tablet. What is Apple's magic? I'll show you. You take out your MacBook, turn it on for the first time. And it immediately goes boom, and the Apple lights up, and you don't even have to press a button. It seems like nothing special, but every time I turn on this MacBook, I get high on how awesome it is. Well, and it immediately says to me, hello, what a cutie. Of course, it's Russian. Oh, by the way, I'm not sure that they won't block it to hell, because you never know, but it seems like no one really indulges in data and privacy these days. Migration assistant. I don't want to migrate. Set everything up later. Yeah, sure, I'm skipping everything. Enable location services on this Mac. Oh well. I don't use it. Set up Touch ID. Yes, note that there are no new tricks here again. Touch ID is being configured, but we will do it later, we don't need it for now. Let the design be light. App Store OK. And look what a joke, despite the fact that Apple left Russia, it still gives you applications that can be installed in Russia, and there are fewer and fewer of them, and here, except for my office, there is nothing else. Well, since this is macOS Sequoia, what do we see? That's right, Sequoia. They are here on the desktop. In general, nothing supernatural. So far, it looks like all the processes of setting up any Mac. But by the way, this is the first time I've set up a computer on the new Sequoia operating system. Because I just installed it on my computer. And what do I see? An M.4 processor, 16 gigabytes of RAM. Well, as it was written on the box, the storages don't lie. Well, now we need to install, of course, Geekbench. By the way, since we're on the subject, I'll show you the first thing you should do on your Mac after you buy it. You go to the keyboard, and here, of course, you change the key combination, because at some point some crazy moron decided that changing the input source should be through some absolutely insane combination, but in fact it's done exclusively like this. Here it conflicts with something, of course, with Spotlight, so let it be found through option. That's it. Now we have switching, like in the good old days. Is this a misfortune? But that's not all the fun. Then you go to input sources. And here you have ABC and Russian. Russian is crap. You have to use Shift to put something like 6 or 7 dots, which no one does, so only Russian is selected, while Russian is deleted, and now you are a glorious user. I am still an old believer. Yeah, what do? I also go to the trackpad, of course, and do normal scrolling there, because this is some kind of horror, to hell with natural scrolling. Now I have it like in the good old days, like I'm used to. You pull it up, it goes down. Everything is so logical. Logical. I launched Geekbench on my MacBook. Let the work stand here. Well, of course, on a small processor. Actually, now we will compare it with the iPad and the most evil M.Trimax of the previous generation. You know, I was really shocked, because for my 192 gigs of RAM, 128. Only 100. Oh, well, that's crap, of course, 128 gigs of RAM in total. So, it has 2,900 in single-core, and 20,800 in multi-core. Remember, right? Remember. At the same time, the iPad already shows 3,700 on single-core and 14,700 on multi-core. That is, the iPad Pro is somewhere close to the most evil M.Trimax. Once again, if we talk about the synthetic CPU test. Of course, graphics are also important there, and here the Pro will be far ahead, but the fact is. So, I look at the results of the MacBook Pro M4 and see 3,800, 15, 200. Awesome numbers, awesome. Moreover, if you compare it with M.Tree, then, of course, the gap will be significant, but not awesome. Well, not a single sane person updates their MacBook every year. If with iPhones it is at least with a stretch of an owl on a globe, it can somehow be explained. Then why update MacBook every year, nobody knows. And the closest, so to speak, update could have happened with some M.2. And lucky for you, I have here, damn, as many MacBooks as fools have antiques. This is Air on M.2, and now we will also run a test here and find out how many parrots are here. But if you jump over generations, the difference is already noticeable. 2 509 400 and again 3 815 200. These are basic MacBooks, basic processors, basic configurations. If we talk about GPU performance, then 24,000 for M.2 and 38,000 for M4, which is very, very good. Of course, M3 Max copes even better and knocks out almost 100, but it would be strange if it did not show itself very well there. But we see that the performance is really significant. And when Apple tells us 20, 30, 60%, that's okay. And mark my words, in their presentation they will also compare the increased performance of the M4 exclusively with processors from the year before last or even earlier. Because the difference between M.3 and M.4 will not be worth the money. Of course, it will be visible, but to what extent you will be able to squeeze any benefit out of it in practice is a rhetorical question. Well, if you want to upgrade from M.2, for example, you had an Air on M.2, and you enjoyed the fact that it was a better computer. And then decided that you need ports, you want a little more performance, so that it feels good under load, because there are coolers, and this means active cooling. Here you can move to the M4 and enjoy the fact that it will be significantly more interesting feature. Previously, the basic empty MacBook Pro had the following. 2 Thunderbolt ports. They are also USB-C, of course, MagSafe and a combined jack for connecting headphones to a microphone, and all that. And on the other hand, you only had an SDXC card reader, whatever it's called, and HDMI. So, look, another Thunderbolt has been added here, and this is still a basic MacBook, that is, in the previous generation only. Devices with M.Tri Pro and M.Tri Max processors had an additional Thunderbolt 4. Here, it seems, they decided not to invent anything. I was completely shocked that this was the case. I only found out when I was preparing for this video. What kind of stinginess is this from Apple? They pinched one Thunderbolt. Because of course you want to have it on both sides. Of course, so that all this works. And now, if you don't want to buy a fat processor like M.4 Pro and M.4 Max, but want to have that Thunderbolt, then you have that option with the M.4 processor. Glory to Apple. In general, the update is minor, don't expect anything else. The processor is probably 15, 20, 30, 40% faster. Somewhere, it's faster, it got some nice neural cores, but we've seen all that, firstly, in the iPad, and secondly, it's as if the MacBook design could already be updated, because that notch is, of course, cool. But as I understand it, guys, for now we're living in this range, that we've had a new chassis for a while now, on the other hand, we're tired of it. But expect, so to speak, cool updates in the future. Bye. Well, if you've ever bought an MI or M.2, the M.4 is a pretty good upgrade. For everyone else, it's a no-brainer. We'll succumb here.